homeschool is just an online school, right? Actually, no, they're completely different, and this video will explain the difference between homeschool and online school. I have heard countless parents say how much they've hated homeschooling their children during this period of COVID, and I find that really sad because I think to myself, well, you're not actually homeschooling, you're doing online school, and that is completely different because homeschooling is actually really enjoyable for a lot of parents, for most parents, but online school, well, that can be a different story depending on what curriculum you're doing and how organized it is. Now, don't get me wrong, there are actually some really good online schools out there. For example, BJU Press has one, Abeka has one, and I think they're really fantastic options. But then there are also some not so great options out there who it's really disorganized and it's just not fun. Probably the big difference is that a homeschool is way more flexible. When you're studying with an online school, well, then you have to sit down and you have to do exactly what is in the curriculum. But then if you are with a homeschool, you're often with a paper-based homeschool, you can print that out and the children do it. They can skip things if they want. They don't have to do certain subjects if that's not working for them, and they can choose to do it in their own time. So it works with the schedule of the family. If you're studying in an online school, you have to be accountable to an outside body. But if you're studying with a homeschool, you don't have to be accountable. And then depending on what state you are in, you will be obviously accountable to the authorities. But for a lot of states, there isn't much regulation happening anyway. Let's talk about responsibility regarding homeschool versus online school. Well, the responsibility lies with the teacher if the child is doing online schooling, whereas it lies with the parent if they are doing homeschooling. If you talk about the mode of delivering the material, these days online schools are, well, they're online. Whereas a homeschool, you can get a box curriculum in the mail, or you can choose to do it online, or you can choose to do a hybrid version. An online school or a homeschool is a great option for a child who has perhaps gone through bullying at school. If you have a child with autism or other learning disabilities, a homeschool or an online school is also a really great choice because they can learn from the comfort of their own home. They don't have the stress of too much happening in the outside environment, or if they have medical disabilities, they can easily be accommodated at home a lot more easily than they can be at school. For students like this, you can also easily customize a homeschool curriculum, which would be fantastic. If you have older students, perhaps in year 12, they can also get a part-time job and study their school on a part-time basis, either in a homeschool curriculum or in an online school. What about entry to college? Well, if you are studying with an online school, you very simply get a certificate at the end of your time and you can take that to college, and so it's a very streamlined approach. But if you're studying with a homeschool, it can be also very, very easy these days to get into college. That might not have been the case 20 years ago, but these days it is so easy. I myself got into our university about 15 to 17 years ago. It's getting more time these days. I got in so easily, and so that was about 17 years ago. If you have parents who are serving in a foreign country and they need an English curriculum, then an online school or a homeschool curriculum is a great choice. Also, kids who love sport and perhaps are working towards the Olympics, they can do that from the comfort of their own home, study online or with a homeschool curriculum, and then also do their sports on the side. We ourselves became very good at cycling because we could do our homeschool and then we could go out and we could cycle whenever we wanted to. And also generally, homeschoolers only take 2 to 3 hours to complete their formal homework a day, and they do very well compared to public school and private school students. In comparison, if you are studying with an online school, a primary school student can expect to take around 3 to 5 hours for their work, whereas a high school student can take up to 5 to 7 hours. Because that is such a massive difference and homeschoolers have way more time, they can use their time studying an entrepreneur, one of those pursuits. They could start their own business or do other extracurricular activities that they value. If you're studying with an online school, you also need a reliable internet connection. Homeschools may need this if they are studying online content, but a lot of them don't need this and have an offline or they have a mailable box curriculum. What about time you spend staring at a computer? Well, a primary school student can expect to spend around an hour looking at a screen a day, whereas for high school students, this is up to 3 to 4 hours a day. Now, if you're studying with an online school, a lot of your peers are also learning online, so you can talk to them through the online medium if that works for those students. If you are homeschooling, you'll want to get your children involved in a homeschool group where there are lots of other homeschooling families who are looking for social opportunities for their children as well. This said, online schools sometimes provide co-curricular activities where students can meet face-to-face, for example, for sports. Now, if you want an online homeschool curriculum with loads of electives for any school age, then you'll want to check out this video, which is possibly one of the best curricula around for the money on schoolhouse teachers.